congrats, Tundra. You came second, despite the fact you had a lot of roster changes. Can you give us your reaction to the finals and I guess to the season as well?
Yep. Overall, the season's been really enjoyable. We're happy to come away with second place given all the roster issues we had and being told a week before the event that we'd have to use 2 substitute players, one of them who's retired and off rolling. So to come away with second place at this event is really, really good for us. We pretty much gave it our all in the semi-final. Didn't really expect to get into the finals, and then when we're in the finals we just gave it our all game 1 and 2. I think we actually put up a really good fight, probably the closest games Infused have had. And then game 3 we just realised they're just a better team, so let's just have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah, and talking about Nutri in particular then, he really impressed me against Choke. Did that surprise you in a way as well? Or?
Yeah, I think most of us, with how Nutri performed, we thought it would pretty much go the same as it did against Infused, with how the Alfari Nutri lane kind of matched up. But he seemed to hold his own against Numlocked, and he made a lot of good TP plays, like good Shen ults, and I think he did really well.
Yeah, definitely. Can I ask as well, were you surprised you beat Choke? I don't want to say so easily, but from the score lines would suggest, it was an easier time for you than it was when you played them previously in the season.
I think when we played against Choke earlier in the season, a lot was due to it being on the old patch as well. And we also had a completely different lineup then. I think a lot of it came down to just not really gelling well together as a team. And I think although we came with 2 substitutes here, just like how we've been comically named, Friendships and I can't remember what the other one was, whatever FM was.
I've missed that.
I can't remember what it is, but we got named something funny about just being friends and doing quite well with it. So I think that was nice that Nutri's an old teammate, Kino is also quite an old teammate, so just coming together as friends, getting second place is really good for us.
Can I ask what's next for you guys and like yourself in particular as well, because I know you tweeted saying you're a free agent, so does that mean you're leaving FM?
It doesn't mean also that I'm leaving FM, it just means I'm looking to see what else is out there. Yeah. It's kind of been for the last couple of years, I've put teams and other players before myself, just trying to be the nice guy in a sense of just trying to make a team go all the way. But I think it's time I have to try be a bit more selfish, see where I can get myself as an individual and just see what I can do.
And what do you think of the scene in the UK right now?
I think the UK scene is probably stronger than most people make out to be. The teams themselves aren't that strong, but we have some very, very talented individuals. Toaster is probably the best AD. You have Alfari and Maxwell, who will both most likely be in CS at least. Maxwell maybe even in LCS. Have some good foreign players playing in it as well, like you saw with Arfan, Poik, Zivic, all really, really talented. So on an individual basis, the scene's actually quite strong. It's more so that at the moment, there isn't enough incentive to have a UK team as the albeit to just have a UK team. That's why even like players in Infuse, Maxwell and Alfari have their own European teams. You had like Arfan used to be on a European team, Zivic had his own one. Nobody really wants to be in a UK team as that's all they're going to be. It's what I tried to do over the last 2 years because it's just not worth it. Being handicapped in a sense to having to have 3 UK players as part of the lineup restricts you a lot in terms of roster control as well, because it also means if someone is underperforming or not putting the effort in, you can't actually replace them if it's a UK player. Let's just use an example of myself, say. If this team, let's assume Kino was European, this team, if I was underperforming, there's not really anything that can be done about it because there isn't another UK support who's up to standard, so they're stuck with me. And that's the kind of issue you'll run into. It's the issue Dignitas UK run into when they were going for LCS. That they wanted to replace some roles, but the talent wasn't there in the UK. That's why they ended up disbanding in the end. So I think for things to move forward, the UK scene should either be capped to 5 out of 5 UK, or the ESL just needs to accept that it's going to be dominated by EU imports.
What do you think we need to do to get that talent in the UK found?
I think there is actually a lot of hidden talent in the UK. There's a couple of players that I know that play in other foreign leagues and just solo queue and stuff who are very, very talented, but again, they have no incentive to play in the UK. I know 2 off the top of my head are 700 LP plus Challenger, which is near enough top 100 in Europe. They can't. There's no incentive for them to play in the UK. It's too much effort for such little reward. So there has to be some incentive for these players to come out and actually start playing in UK teams. Because right now, nobody wants, like you just saw, I guarantee you for this event, Infuse didn't practice at all. We didn't practice at all. I doubt Exodus practiced at all, and it was just Choke. But Choke tried to put in the effort, but didn't really have the skill to back it up. It's kind of a bad thing to say, but still, that's kind of the thing. Like, nobody really takes it seriously because there's nothing to take seriously. There's not a big enough cash pool, there's not a big enough incentive to do it. Even with Riot exposing it, still didn't even peak 3k viewers, I think. Got 2.8 max. And when you consider that a year ago, Four Nations hit nearly 30,000, that's when the scene should have gone up. That was when the rosters were pretty much all UK. Both teams in the finals were UK, 5 UK, 5 UK in finals of Four Nations. And you look now, there's only 6 UK players. Oh, 7, sorry, because Kina.
Do you think we should have had the Four Nations back rather than Riot focusing on the ESL Prem?
Four Nations should have happened again, yeah. It should have been Four Nations V2. It's a little disappointing that Riot's gone through ESL to run this tournament, but it's understandable given they're such a small team at Riot, the UK staff. They're very, very, very hard working, so it's understandable that they passed the job onto ESL, who actually did an okay job at running it throughout the whole season, and it's their first season doing it, so it's understandable that mistakes would be made and there's improvements to happen. But I would have liked to see Riot do the Four Nations V2, and I'd also, a clear decision needs to be made whether they want to promote the UK talent itself or promote the UK scene, because they're very different things. If they want to promote the talent within the UK, you cap it at 5 out of 5 UK. The teams overall won't be as good, but what you'll find is that other UK players will be brought up because they have to be. Each team is required to have 2 more UK players. If they want to promote the scene, they need to bring in more cash prizes, bigger incentives for the European players and top UK players to come out of hiding and actually do it.
No, I kind of agree with that. And is there anything else you want to add? Any last words? Or
hopefully you'll be interviewing me under better circumstances in a few months' time. I hope I'll be somewhere in Europe playing for a better team, but at the moment I'm just seeing what happens. I'm just looking to do my best.
Okay. Thanks very much, Tundra.